This is not going to be one of my usual videos where I'm super upbeat and happy and sharing with you all of the travel tips for adventuring with your toddler. This is going to be me, Courtney, the host of this channel here on YouTube, The World is Your Oyster, being a little more real and raw with you. Take a sip of water. So here I am actually from a hotel room somewhere in Colorado, and my shirt and body is covered in dog hair because when you live in a very small space and you have a dog, everything gets covered in hair really quickly. And we are actually on our way back to Gunnison to get settled in for the summer, open our summer seasonal business, move back into our house because if you don't know, we lived in the camper for 6 months. We're still living in the camper. We're in the camper for 6 months out of the year and then back into our home that we own in Gunnison, Colorado, the other 6 months out of the year. And then we rent it out to people. We live right near a ski mountain when we're not there. And so that's kind of how we scheduled this life. We have an amazing summer seasonal business. And I also have a remote online health and wellness coaching business. So I'm able to help people from wherever I am. And then my husband does real estate. And so that's a whole nother YouTube for another day. But what I wanted to come and talk to you about today is just the reality of living on the road and being in a small space and being tired, because that's going to happen. And especially if you are a travel family and you live and travel on the road full time together, that also means most likely you're an entrepreneurial family. So whether you have, your own online business or you work remotely or your spouse does as well, or maybe you're a content creator, let me tell you, creating content in a camper with a family is not an easy task. It's a lot of shuffling people out so you can get the clips and be able to talk clearly into the camera. And so if you are an entrepreneurial family and living in a small space, all of that can cause a lot of stress and tension. And it's interesting because this is actually our third time, my husband and I living in a camper full time together. And the first time before we moved into the camper, I had a couple of friends say to me, when you guys get done with this trip, either you're going to be closer than ever or you're going to be divorced. And I truly believe that as a couple and as a family, there are two ways to live in a camper or to live in a tiny space or to travel together full time. You can either, let it break you and divorce you, or let it grow you closer together. And as with anything, growing closer together isn't always easy. Sometimes it takes those hard moments, those moments of indecision, the moments of, are we making the right choice? The moments of frustration that do bring you closer together. And so, perfect example right now, we're in this hotel and we're supposed to be heading back towards Gunnison here shortly. And, we're like, do we go now and get ahead of the night, leave before nighttime hits? Or do we just stay another night in a hotel and go tomorrow morning? What do we do? We're in a hotel right now because we just got back from a trip. Let me just tell you, I know that everything I'm talking about right now is very much a first world problem. Boo-hoo! It's hard living full-time in a tiny space and traveling with your family. I absolutely understand that. But I don't want to just show you the highlight reels all the time. I don't want to just show you, here's all the good and the adventures that we go on as a family. There is a lot behind the scenes. There's a lot of this, creating the content, editing down the videos, deciding where to go. It is a lot of decision fatigue in an already decision fatigued world we live in. Look at all of the options we have for restaurants to go to, or movies to watch on TV, or new shows on Hulu or Netflix, do you ever feel decision fatigue? Because let me tell you, living in a camper is like decision fatigue times 1,000. Because every couple of days we're like, where do we want to go? Where do we want to experience? And once we're there, where do we want to eat? What do we want to see? When are we going to find time to work? And all of those questions can cause tension in relationships. And so I wish that I had this like magic answer for you that was like, when we get in an argument in a camper, here's what we do to solve it quickly. But I don't have that answer. And honestly, drink of water. Honestly, one of the reasons that we decided to get the camper that we got, the first camper we ever lived in was this 20-foot toy hauler where the bed was suspended in the air and there was a ladder. And whenever Brayden and I got in fights, there was like nowhere to go. There was no separate space. So I would like climb up the ladder and be like up in this bed above the dirt bikes, and Brayden would be like sitting on the couch right there. I could see him, and we're both just stewing and angry. And so I always said, with our future campers, there has to be at least one door inside the camper to close between us. And that is like, I guess, my one secret and my one must-have necessity for living in a camper as a family is have at least one door that you can close with like a bedroom and the living area out there, or whatever it is that you can close between you. Because when you are angry, or when tensions are high, or when things are going on, you want to be able to close that door, and you want to be able to give yourself space and time so you don't say something that's going to hurt the other person's feelings, till you calm down, that you can have like a real conversation about things. That's another thing. Camper walls are really thin. So if you are in a fight, like if you're staying in a campground and you're in a fight, everyone in the campground around you is going to hear. That's just fact. So yeah, this video is probably very different. I mean, I know it's very different from the content that I usually put out, but I just wanted to be real with you and let you know that for all of the happy videos I bring you, and though we're doing it, we're living our best life and it's amazing, which it all is. And I'm very like cognizant of, we are so lucky and so blessed that we were able to find, like I was able to start my coaching career that was remote, and I coach other women on how to grow their own businesses online as well. And that we started this summer seasonal business, and that my husband, you know, has it. We own our house. We have real estate investments that so we can rent our house out and do other things. And so I know, like every single day I wake up and I'm like grateful. But at the same time, just because you're grateful doesn't always mean it's easy. Like straight up. Brayden and I have been in an argument now, tension for like 2 days, and that's okay. We're still having fun. Like we still had a good day today. Doesn't mean that we have to have a bad day. It's just reality. It's reality of living in a tiny space, and it's reality of living in a camper or traveling with your family pushes you out of your comfort zones, both for yourself, for your spouse, and for your kids. So there are going to be those moments of frustration and higher tensions, and that's just something that you have to expect and that you should prepare for. And just know that it's not going to be always this picture perfect social media, Instagram post, right? It's going to be real life. Sometimes you're going to be sitting in a actually pretty crappy hotel room somewhere in Colorado while your husband is down in the car with your sleeping toddler who fell asleep, and creating content from there. And it is what it is. So I don't know if you needed to hear this today, and I don't know why I've just felt the need to come here and be just so honest and talk to you about this. And I promise you that next week it'll be some fun, like, oh, we're traveling or this is what we're doing video and sharing some more tips with you. But I just think that this is a tip too. And this is really freaking real, that you have to expect hard days and know that that's just part of it and that it's okay and that you're going to grow from it and you're going to get better and you're going to become closer. You have to go with that expectation and that growth mindset together, that these hard moments will make you closer in the end. And that's what I know right now. I know that these hard moments are going to make us as a family just so much closer in the end. So I hope that this video helped you some today, and thanks for tuning in. Remember to follow, subscribe, comment below if this resonated with you at all. Maybe you've traveled with your family and you've had a similar experience, or done an activity with your toddler and had a similar experience. I'd love to hear below in the comments. And remember, the world is your oyster. We'll see you next week.